Now my box is small. Jordan ruined my box again. Hi, Kitty! That
Oh
little
my
Ozzy.
goodness.
Is that Ozzy? Oh God, you're so cute.
Ozzy.
You're so cute. You little. Look at that nose. Oh, I want to kiss it. I want to kiss it all over its cute little
There we
face.
go. We got to zoom in on the.
God.
Everybody get your screenshots. And I'm muted. Welcome, everyone, to the Bin Podcast, your favorite podcast. You've landed in the right spot. I'm Mikey Famine, exquisite, perfect, bigly producer extraordinaire.
No, we discussed this, Mikey. I can't
It's
hear those words.
tremendous.
I'm joined by the
It's
wettest water that ever was. They call
the
him.
wettest raid in the Arctic water.
I'm joined with Jordan Run and Brenna Duncan, Klingon specialist.
Actually, I'm doing Swedish right now. So
I need to work on my Swedish.
Oh no, Norwegian. Sorry, I'm doing Norwegian right now. Ah shit, I have to do that today.
Still
Dude.
crushing on that curling dude.
She didn't say nothing.
Who doesn't?
She didn't
I'm at-
argue. She didn't say mind your fucking business. She
So my Duolingo, I'm at a streak of 713.
just 713 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna have to steal your phone.
No.
That's the only way I'm breaking your streak. Is I have to steal
No.
your phone or
No.
break it.
I was thinking maybe I'd wait until like 800 and then I'll be like, fuck it, I'm over it.
800. You got to get to 1,000.
Oh God.
You got to get to 1,000. You're almost.
What would
there.
you do if I went to 1,000? If I was able to go to 1,000, what would you give me?
I will send you Kristen for the weekend.
You guys are going to have to anyway because
I know.
I don't know.
That's why I was just gonna use that.
It's
trying to two for it.
You have. I mean, it's. I've seen the list. It's Chicago was on there. I think 3 times in the last week.
What list?
The mass shooting list.
Oh yeah.
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 Chicago, Illinois.
What? That's still. Is that still a thing? You haven't figured that out yet?
No, Canada figured it out in like 3 days.
Canada decided that it was like it looked at us and said, "Fuck it, we're not gonna let this happen."
Right. They were
Like,
proactive about something.
They actually learned something. I mean,
we're
the one that makes everybody's mistakes.
Correct.
I just don't get it. Like, how does it feel to be surpassed by a country filled with people that can't say about?
Listen, the beaver moose people of the frozen north, our friends north of the wall, the wildlings, we call them. I mean, wildlings had some shit figured out. Like, they weren't perfect, but they weren't fucking arrowing each other. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
We used to about 1,000 fucking years ago. Then we figured, no, this is not really a good idea, and then we, stopped.
And that is.
Well, we were, I was just speaking to my mother about like the Jubilee and stuff that's been around, and she's like, the official guard of the Queen has a sword, while we have Secret Service that has several types of guns on their person protecting the president.
They got guns too. they got swords. Yes, you are right. They do have swords, and
and a few
and an M16.
Right. But everybody has just many, like our president just is surrounded by Secret Service with various, we go through extensive vetting processes of everybody, but the Queen could have a garden party in Scotland and you could walk by and wave at her without anybody stopping you. Like, it is sort of our culture of shoot first, ask questions later
Right.
that causes us to be in this situation yet again. So I know we're going to get in some heavy stuff, but I guess the first thing that we need to talk about is the big news.
Oh, the biggest news.
The big news, the because we are nothing but like freaks for celebrity, right?
Is
Here
it
you go.
tremendous?
It
It's
is. This is
tremendous.
the bigly news right here.
Oh
This
God,
this is.
no.
I can't
It's part of
stop doing it now. Now that I've started, I
it's
can't turn it off.
it's part of your vocabulary. So
Oh.
we here in Southern California had to stop using like every other word because
Yeah.
like it was like so annoying.
Because
We had to
we all made fun of you.
rightfully so.
See, bullying can be positive. We got the Californians to stop saying like
It's called
every
peer
word.
pressure. It's called peer pressure.
Yeah, yeah. But you
All
guys
right.
get
Okay.
80-degree weather in like all year round. So shut up.
We get 80-degree weather once a year.
2911. Mr. Depp's claim against Ms. Heard. 1. As to the statement appearing in the online op-ed entitled Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath.
That was the
has
long
to
title.
change. In the Washington Post online edition.
Did anyone actually read that? I didn't read that.
I did.
I didn't read that either.
I did.
Was it scathing? Was it full
No,
of...
It was one of many tales told in the Me Too uprising, if you will.
Oh.
So it was. It was sort of. I know that I've read it, and I didn't really reflect over the fact that she used to be married to Johnny Depp.
Oh, you
Like
didn't connect it
because
to
there
him?
was so because there were so many stories like that, so many op-eds from so many different countries about famous people coming out every single day. They kind of got mashed up, which is a horrible thing to say because we shouldn't get those things mashed up. Every story matters in
Right.
this, right? But
Right.
no, I read it, but when I went back and read it again, I was like, why didn't I connect the dots?
Right.
But it was such a vast barrage at this point of
Yeah.
stories coming out from Norway, from Sweden, from the UK, from America, in the football world, in the acting world, in the music world, in every like cultural and sport aspect. They were coming out these stories every single day, and they kind of got colluded for me. As with the school shootings that we will talk about later, I got numb.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Quote,
And you kind of start eye rolling, right? You're like, oh my god, another person, and it's like exactly, it's like the shootings. It's like, oh wow, another one.
And it's
Like,
and
what
it's
am I
Yeah, and
supposed to
especially
do with this information?
and it's not even like I'm so bothered that I have to hear about this thing. It's like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like I can't, like there's no way that this is happening. Not that.
Right.
This has got to be
and
about something else.
Also you have to remember the fact that what's going on with the shootings in America is so peripheral for me. It's so I'm so removed from it. It's not like when we talked the other day, Brenna, where you said like this is getting close, this is getting personal for me, and I'm like, well, only reason it would get personal for me is if any of you, my friends in America, got affected, right? But for me personally, for my family, for my closest friends, it's not. And it's supposed the same thing with these famous people writing all of these articles. It happens at such a vast scale so often, and there were people that were not really in my
circle.
They were also circle. They were peripheral people that I've heard of and read about and seen in movies, but it for me it wasn't personal.
Right.
So yeah, please
Yeah.
go ahead. That was
sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. End quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven by a greater weight of the evidence that question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the defamatory implication was designed and intended by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, due to circumstances surrounding the publication of the statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Do you find that
pause,
Mr. Depp...
pause.
Yeah.
Because this is the important part. Malice and defamatory intent. It was meant to. It might be we have to play the other one because that might be the malice part. So let's keep rolling a little bit.
Oh, I'll skip her forward if she gets boring again.
Depp has proven by clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice. Answer, yes.
Okay, there we go. Pause.
Nailed it.
She acted with actual malice. Do you know how hard that is to prove?
Right.
The statements were made in bad faith, if you will,
right,
to hurt, to defame, and and to make his life a living hell.
Yeah.
It wasn't made, it was just that. I've been scouring the internet. I can't find a defamatory lawsuit where somebody actually got sentenced on the malice points, that it got proven beyond the reasonable doubt that you acted maliciously.
Yeah.
That's the big one for me. The malice part. I did not think that would go through. And I was looking at CBS, and I can't remember the name of their, head legal contributor, and he was as surprised as I was, right?
Right.
Because of just that malice thing.
And so if you and I guess I'll wait till we're finished. I'll wait till we're finished. Play like another 10 seconds of this.
Yeah, go.
2. As to the statement appearing in the op-ed entitled "A Transformative Moment for Women" in the Washington Post print edition and the online op-ed, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change, in the Washington Post online edition. Quote, then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out, end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven by a greater weight of the evidence that, question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about...
Okay. She goes on for another 8 minutes reading all the stuff because that's just court.
Yeah, but she has every point that, have to, answer every question in that lawsuit, and then they have to answer everything in the counterclaim.
In hers,
I think, what I think is important to remember here, right, is that first of all, it was not he didn't win all the way. Yes, he did win $15 million. She also got awarded $2 million for things that had been said about her, right? That was also done in bad faith with malice and to hurt her public persona and so on and so forth. But before we move on, I just think there's one point in this. that we have to speak, because both of these people in this case, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, are very bad representatives
Yeah.
for men and women, right?
Yeah.
And I see this on the internet a lot, on Twitter, and people going out like, look, women lie, and men are, da 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 da. No, they both acted like children, drug addict, and oh, sorry, better now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both acted like, you know, drug addicts, like children, like spoiled little brats. Unless they both did horrible things. She did horrible things. He did horrible things. The fact that it didn't amount to, you know, abuse or domestic abuse in the legal sense does not mean that anything they did during their short marriage was okay. I don't want Johnny Depp to be the representative for men.
Correct.
I don't want Amber Heard to be the representative for women. I think
Correct.
Johnny Depp fucking flying out to Sheffield to go on stage and, all right, I'm fine now,
Yeah.
and I'm a rock star again, and everything is good. After all the shit that you did, like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
Got so fucking stoned and so fucking high all of the fucking time, and all you did was like, deal out drugs to everybody, and now you're like the cool guy? No, you're not the cool guy. You're a drug addict. You're a child.
Yeah.
You're a spoiled little fucking brat that just running around the world spending the cash that you've earned, but you are acting like an arse.
Yep.
For real.
Yeah.
I don't want him to represent me. I don't want people to look at Johnny Depp and look at me and think, hey, they're both men and they're the same. No, fuck no.
No.
Yeah, it's
So,
and
but
there,
I think that
there's
you as
so many problems.
yeah,
There's so many problems that came out of this, and like the one thing she lied,
Yeah.
and she got caught in that lie, and then she wrote about um how nobody believed her. Well, this is a court thing. It's a legal thing. If you if you cannot show truthiness, we'll call it the truth
Truthfully.
throughout, truthfully,
bigly,
bigly,
bigly truth.
bigly truth. If you can't prove that, if you continue to change your story, you have proven to be, to lie about something, it doesn't help your case, and that's just legal. Whether or not it's true or not, it in the legal sense, it's very difficult. And then, going on the off the offense and saying, like, creating this op-ed that attacks somebody, that ruins your ruins purposely. Obviously, we found out that was with malice, to purposely harm another person, um their career. He had every right to go and sue her for that,
Right.
because she didn't like the outcome of her other trial. She didn't like what happened with the divorce, and so the only thing that she thought was going to help her was to attack him. I mean, a knife would have been better in this situation. Like, it's something that we all have to put this in perspective. The whole victim, this, sexual assault victim, this it's going to, I think we already talked about this, roll back women's,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. I don't like this because, again, Jartan, you are 100% right. She is not a representation of women or of victims of any type of violence, whether or not it was whether or not she was assaulted, whether or not she lied about assault, or if she was telling the truth and she kept her, like, she is not a representation of what's happening. We can still move forward and we can still do great. We cannot put somebody like this on a pedestal and
Right.
say, now it's your responsibility. Yes.
Yes, but yeah, and here's one of the things that I think they're going to get to that later in what we're not going to hear, but they actually say that she used the Me Too movement as a sword and a shield, because if she went out and, said those things under the umbrella of hashtag Me Too, then she would be unattackable. She wouldn't be, she would be beyond approach. And we know this, that when people use good intended movements to do bad things,
Yep.
it's never a good thing. And they they destroy that entire movement. And the people who was against Me Too and thought it was a bad thing and don't think that women should have this right, and they've just gotten the most public trial that we've seen since fucking O.J. Simpson. And now they're going out on Twitter and they're saying, like, look, women lie about these things. Yes, women lie, men lie, people lie about things. But she's not representative for actual domestic abuse victims.
And this is what the media is definitely...
Wait, just give me a second. We all have somebody in our close vicinity that has been a victim of domestic abuse. We know how they feel. We know how they act, and for her to put herself out there as an advocate for these people and lie and just be, and she's not very likable. She's not a representative of these people. She's not a representative of domestic abuse victims. She's not a representative of women. She's not a representative of anything but her own actions and her own demise. Sorry.
And the media wants the media, depending, whatever side of the media, after this was, after they did the verdict and they, all the courtroom stuff like that, like immediately the first thing somebody says was, well, this is going to roll back for women. All these, we're just going to silence women.
Yeah.
No, first off, this was liable. This was what was the court proceedings was a liable case, which actually means you can't go out and attack somebody personally in the public eye and think that you can get away with it. Like what was it about was already done court proceeding on. They already went through a divorce about this.
Right.
And this is a liable about whether or not she intended to cause harm to Johnny Depp and his career. And it did, by the way. And her career is shot because of this. And she's going to do the same thing, that she's going to be the victim again. Right?
Can I while I was watching a little bit of the trial while I was streaming. I have one thing that is so funny from her testimony.
All right, do it.
Oh no, it was the guy who was like the expert on contracts or whatever, and he was like responding to something one of her people said. I can't remember the specifics. But needless to say, your girl Amber thought she was about to start getting Zendaya money. And I just started cackling. I was like, on what planet do you think you are going to be the next superstar of the earth? She is about to run this town. What are you talking about? What are you even talking about? She's tall, thin, and biracial. You're screwed. She is the cutest thing ever. She's going to be in every movie. Ever.
And she's talented.
And she's crazy good. You're screwed. What are you talking about? I'm gonna get Amber. Amber, stop it. Amber, stop.
Okay.
It. You're embarrassing yourself.
I can't talk about this shit anymore because it's not worth it to hash this out a little bit more. But really, they're both terrible people. They they deserve to be punished for being terrible people, and it's very public. So can we move on to something a little bit more actual news?
More bad?
More bad news.
Okay, I'll just say it then. Jenna, we're gonna fix your mic. Okay, so your gain's a little high because
I've turned it all the way down now.
Yeah, with you that close, it's got to be like mine's on nothing right now.
Yeah, mine on 0. But you asked me to get it closer.
Yeah.
But then I realized I wasn't talking through my mic. I was talking through my computer, so I turned it over.
So that's why okay. You know what? It's always something.
No, I'm just gonna move it. It's always something.
It's always something. Last
Always.
week, there was the Uvalde school shooting, and we were all fed a narrative about the door being left open, and that's how he got in, and all this other stuff. Well,
no, but before we move on, I just have one thing more I wanted to say about the Amber Heard thing. I'm sorry, because you kind of just one more thing that I really need to say.
One more thing.
Yes, and it's
Sorry.
Thank you for the help me trying to actually collect my thoughts. All right, this is going to get hard. All right, so yes, I am absolutely lost my momentum. Yeah, but when it comes to the whole Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, is that when I heard her story, I felt like I heard the story of somebody who read a book about domestic abuse victims. She's not a very likable person. And that didn't help. And in that whole barrage of things, I try to keep a level head. And what I want to say is that I am afraid when feminists and people who are involved in the Me Too movement push Amber Heard forward as how dangerous it for freedom of speech and for victims not being, can't come out and speak, pushing her forward is such an amazingly bad idea. We need to let this go. We need to let Johnny and Amber go as representatives for anything.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that's not their jobs.
No.
It's not what they're good at.
No. So to all of these feminists now and all of these Me Too people going out now and writing op-eds about how, now women won't, dare to go out. When you say that, when you push Amber Heard's story out like that, you are a part of the problem.
Yeah.
You need to step down and realize that women lie just like men abuse, right? It happens. But I am still more prone to believe a woman than believe she's a liar, right? And that is the good thing that came out of Me Too. But we need to stop this. We need to stop using them as please stop.
It's kind of an allegory with they say, oh, Black Lives Matter, and then they bring up Diamond and Silk. And I'm like, no. Put their asses back in whatever pasture you found them in. They ain't got shit to do with it.
What they did with the protests and the rioters are now the rioters who actually destroyed things, they were somehow directly connected to Black Lives Matter protests, and thus Black Lives Matter is actually this dangerous, violent group instead of what they actually represent, which was not being dangerous and violent. And that's what's happened with something like this, where if there's an outlier or there's something that bad happens within this, this Me Too movement, that all of a sudden it's all like it's the entirety of the Me Too movement, right? It's that they're all lying, or they're all trying to get famous, or they're all trying to harm somebody because they don't like them. And
exactly, because everything is always the same.
Yeah. So this is the whole, exactly, like putting her on the pedestal, bringing her up forward and saying, look, all you survivors of domestic violence, all you of sexual assault, now like you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like, don't come forward. Like, no, that doesn't solve the problem. The problem is that there's a lot of there are a lot of people that aren't coming forward. It's not because of Amber Heard. It's because we still don't have equal representation. We still don't have the equality within courts. We still don't have, we don't have the rape kits. We don't have or the rape kits being processed. We have, men's rights groups that are flooding money into these places. It's that we have judges that are being, bought and sold. There are things that are causing the bigger problems. It's not Amber Heard.
Right.
I barely even knew who she was.
I didn't.
The first time I ever heard her name like mentioned and a face to it was when she went to Australia and falsified documents for her dogs.
She did?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know
falsified
that.
documents
First
to
time
get
I've
her
heard of her
dogs
was
into Australia.
She doesn't have a history of lying. Don't even say that, Jartan.
Like this is
no.
like this is not a good person in general, regardless of her gender.
No,
Like,
just leave her the key. She'll lock up.
she's just not trustworthy.
I'll
Like,
trust her ass with the fucking mailbox key, man. No, I'll get the mail when I get off work. Worst roommate ever.
The only
no, it's okay,
the
Amber.
only
I got
movie-
this. I'm good. Thanks.
The only movie, like
I'll drop off the
didn't
rent
even,
check.
I didn't even connect the dots. Yeah, I didn't even connect the dots when she did Aquaman. The only movie that I could remember ever seeing her in is that absolutely horrible Nicolas Cage movie where he's dead and he's Drive Angry. Drive Angry, and that's only because she steals her boyfriend's absolutely gorgeous Dodge.
I was about to say there's got to be a car in it. I was about to say there must have been a car in that movie. There's no way he just watched that on his own. He didn't just watch it.
No. 1969 Dodge Charger with a full 454. Absolutely gorgeous fucking car. So
Okay.
there's also a Chevelle SS in there with a 580, which is massively nice. All right, sorry.
Can we talk about terrible people?
I have one quick sub story. Hold on.
Oh no,
Let me fix my.
This is so sad.
No, what did I do wrong? Wait.
Let's hear that you blocked yourself out.
Oh wait,
that's fine.
That. There we go. Aha.
Oh.
Aha.
I'll rather look at this than your ugly mug.
It's my
no,
homie.
go away.
Yeah,
go away. Go away.
We're a package deal.
No.
What?
Rena.
Why would you guys seem preloaded with some sort of notion of what I would say about this young lady? What do you mean?
I have no idea.
She's very strong with the Force.
The nerds got on Twitter and woo, they don't like Reva.
Why?
I don't know.
What?
Maybe because her costume is bad. Maybe her acting is bad. Maybe they don't like how she uses the Force.
I think it's the outfit.
Is it the outfit?
It's the outfit. It's the outfit.
Is it the fact maybe that she is an uncompromisingly strong woman and a black one to boot? And that character has
revenge.
That character has them rattled.
Okay.
They are
sorry. I'm sorry. I must have missed something.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So far in Kenobi, the series,
I'm not caught up.
Okay. No. I'm not going to say anything about the plot. About the plot. My favorite character is Reva.
Oh yeah.
Are people having a problem with her?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I had no idea. No, I didn't know.
Yeah, they're mad because
What's
she's
the problem?
so I can't spoil this, but Brenna is 100% correct. She's very, very strong. And she's a total fucking badass in the show. Total fucking badass. To a point where I think somebody's little soy boy cuck feelings, little incel feelings, are getting a little besmirched, and they're kind of like, she's her hair's stupid. I didn't know Jar Jar Binks had just racist, mean, hard R N-word bullshit. And she's done nothing to anyone but just fucking crush it. Everyone in all of these Disney
I was just about to
shows
say, fucking own it.
Everyone in these this latest run of Disney shows and Amazon too, everything is so good. Like, we've been having some good fucking TV. Like, this post-pandemic post-lockdown shit, we've had some great television. She is amazing. She is amazing in the show. Like, I don't know if I'd want to meet her, actually. Kind of, she kind of, when people act too good, I'm like, I don't want to hang out with her. She might actually be a Jedi or some shit. Nah, fuck that. Not risking it. But yeah, the nerds are upset.
I do like the fact that the Inquisitors keep her around because she's so strong in the Force. They hate her. They absolutely positively hate her. But she's very good at what she does. And, that's kind of paralleling the fact that she's really good at what she does and people hate her for it.
They're uncomfy.
And also, she's also not supposed to be at the level that she is,
right?
Because she comes from a level cast, right? So she's just been elevated to the position that she's at because she's so good at what she does. And like, for me, she's like, the absolute bad guy. She's fantastic, and
she's a great bad guy. I like a good villain.
Yeah, and after the debacle with the strong woman character in Mandalorian, what's her face, fighter girl incel.
What's her face?
Paz
would
that turned out to be an absolute
Gina Carlo.
Gina Carlo. Carello. Carello.
That turned out to be, like the biggest turf in the world.
Yeah.
It's like, after that debacle, like, seeing and refreshing, and I think that Mike is absolutely right. I think that, if you look at Star Wars history, all, the strong characters have always been men. There has been one, Leia, but she wasn't strong with the Force. She was just a strong personality. But she was also, in the first 3 movies, she was kind of, the female object of desire, both for Luke until he found out they were siblings, and then for Han Solo after that.
Spoiler alert.
She was, the typical.
What? If you haven't seen it now, you don't.
This is a fucking 45-year-old movie.
38 years later, I think I'm fine.
Some guy's Leia, like, oh,
even though
man.
She's a strong character, man, I was supposed to see this Saturday.
I was watching it this weekend.
But Leia was still, a very
demure.
No, but like a classic female character,
beautiful, intelligent,
beautiful, soothing, intelligent,
loving.
Blah 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 blah. Natalie Portman as well as Padme, also the same thing, beautiful and intelligent and all that. None of them were Jedi's, right? And then you have this badass coming in and go. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, no, they tried to bring Rey in there, and then the nerds tried to fucking cancel Rey too. Like, fuck all the new movies. I was like, what is wrong with y'all?
Bad.
Y'all don't want girls to have lightsabers. Just say it.
Yeah.
Just say it out loud so we can all be on the same page.
It's been
not only that, but Reva has
the
red lightsaber, and that's I mean, she has the Inquisitor lightsaber, a red one. That's pretty bold.
Yes.
I mean, she is on the dark side, and it's hard for people to believe that.
Yep.
Is it just like a thing with this? Like, I've never understood the Star Trek shirts either. But like, what does a blue, a green, or a red lightsaber mean?
So
Because
the
it's three colors, right?
blue, green, and purple. I
Yeah.
know are Jedi. Mace Windu, because of his status, got the purple, right?
Samuel L. Jackson
Well,
got the purple.
we're retconning. I'm retconning it.
Yeah, yes.
Samuel L. Jackson wanted the purple one to stand out in a crowd, but I think because of his high status in the Jedi Council, he got the purple. But then
It
a
made
red,
sense as well, even though
yeah,
he.
yeah, he has a high status. And then for the red are strictly for Sith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Zumwinkle in the chat says they did the same thing to Kelly Marie Tran.
Oh, hell
Rose,
yeah.
Rose, and I loved her too.
She got, yeah, it was bad.
I don't know.
Help me out.
The engineer from the sequels.
Yeah.
They were mad about her. They're mad about everything. They don't want girls to have nothing. Y'all just go over there. And
girls are supposed to have boobs, and that's all they care about.
Get out of my sci-fi unless you're naked.
Exactly.
And I don't know. A homegirl is not naked in this. She's a total badass. And if you guys are not caught up with Obi-Wan, catch up because next week we're talking about it. That includes you, Brenna. But
still haven't finished Moon Knight though.
Oh, come on, man. Just pour a beer and just finish it. Just finish it already.
Yeah, but I keep falling asleep because it's boring.
Okay, let's talk about liars.
Speaking of liars, your boys, your copy boys down there, and thank you to Steve Cox. I got to get Steve Cox on the show. He absolutely slayed me on Twitter. You guys know that meme where it's like, look at all those chickens, and it was the little girl, and it was superimposed over a line of police officers standing outside of the school because their chief told them not to go in. Actually, he was nowhere to be found. No one was in charge. Everybody showed up to the school and no one was in charge, and the guy that was in charge was nowhere to be found. They say he might not have had his radio. Well, there you go, guys.
What?
There you go. A complete and total utter breakdown for this smaller town. I get it, you're smaller, but they didn't have anything in place. Nothing was ready. Nothing was where it was supposed to be, and people aren't communicating. So instead of everyone saying, the story was that they were waiting from word on high to enter, everybody was standing outside, and homeboy, Chief Pete Arredondo, he's the guy that's supposed to give the order. He's been MIA. Hold on 1 second. One more little tidbit for you. So he's been MIA for a few days, and no one was able to reach out to him for comment or anything like that. But in the middle of the fucking night, he was able to do this.
But at their completely false, we now know, completely false press conference that they held the day after the mass murder of those 19 children and 2 teachers in Uvalde. Here is that mayor's written statement tonight. Uvalde City Council members were sworn in today as per the city charter, out of respect for the families who buried their children today and who are planning to bury their children in the next few days. No ceremony was held.
So guess who's on the council?
Guy who couldn't do his job.
They did it quietly because they didn't want to disrupt, people burying their children.
They didn't want protests. They didn't want people there. They didn't want Beto O'Rourke yelling at them.
Because Beto was showing up.
Oh, hell yeah.
Beto was showing up.
He's obviously there at the burial ceremonies, this because he's, a human being.
As soon as he would have caught word that homeboy was trying to get himself an extra promotion to be on the city council, and chief of police? Are you fucking kidding me?
City council is a very powerful position in a small city like that.
Yes.
Like he could have ended up being a step away from mayor.
Right.
So he could end up being mayor pro tem or whatever they have for that, vice mayor. But
Yeah.
like that's for a small city, that's a big deal. I just want to say, like, the border patrol, they came in and did shit. Like,
Right.
the local police didn't do anything, even though we know that they trained.
Yep.
They just did it, and they fucking broke down. And it's sad and pathetic. And each one of those police officers that stood outside should lose their job.
Yeah.
They failed.
That's not negotiable.
They
You're done.
failed. Yeah, they failed. And that's my honest opinion.
You're sounding a bit digital.
I sound a bit digital.
It's getting better. Might just be internet.
I'm struggling here, right? So you got Ted Cruz, which is a senator from the state of Texas, right?
Yep.
And he's going on TV talking about,
Doors.
only one door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fire hazards? You don't have fires at schools? Because we got fires at schools. That's why you have 38.
Yeah, 38,000 doors. No, just go straight through the bricks. If the building's on fire, just escape through the bricks. The brick wall.
Yeah.
Because a door
Just
would be too dangerous.
Shoot the fire.
And then they're talking about, doors and how, we shouldn't have all these unlocked doors. But, janitors are people too.
Yep.
And you can't have all the doors locked at all times because you need fire exits.
You have to be able to escape.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be. So that is just. And then I heard this other guy who was talking about like having like mouse traps. How you have like sections that you can like close off.
Yeah, and
the man traps.
Yeah, the man traps.
The man traps. They're called man traps, and I'm like, oh. Let's not
and
do
he
that.
said like we have and we have like triggers, and I'm like, yeah, no, please don't do that. And then I read that there were 19 police officers standing in the hallway outside this classroom while children were bleeding to death. And according to the coroner, to the autopsies, some of these children actually bled to death. They could have been saved if they got ample care, right?
Right.
And then how does police and everybody in that, but yes, because as the police chief, as the highest ranking officer, yes, you do have, the highest authority and most of the responsibility is on you.
Yep.
But how did none of these 19 cops, while parents were standing outside trying to breach the perimeter, asking to borrow guns?
Yeah, he said one of the dads was like, "Give me a gun, I'll go in. Just give it to me. I'll go in."
He said, "Give me a vest."
Yeah.
Give me a vest and a gun, and I'll go inside. He was like, "Who?"
They arrested. They arrested the parents for wanting to go in.
Yeah. 19. How did not one of these 19 in this hallway? How did not one of the ones standing outside going like, "What the fuck are people doing? Come on, guys, let's go."
Yeah, fuck that. Let's do it. What are they gonna do? Fire me? Fuck it.
You only need that one guy, and then you would have like, it would go down the lines, and people are like, "Yeah, what the fuck are we doing?" Like they would just storm the place, right?
Yep.
Even a distraction, even adding in a distraction for the shooter would have saved lives.
A target that's not a child.
Right. Banging on
Who's
the
not a
door.
child that's sitting still or hiding underneath their desk, but is an actual, somebody shooting back and moving.
There was a girl who took blood from her dead friend next to her, smeared it all over her body, and played dead just so that she wouldn't get shot.
Wow.
Like
There's
this shit,
a girl-
you cannot make this shit up. That's how bad this is.
There's a 911. Yes, and thank you, by the way, to Katniss Everdeen for showing people what to do in a situation, because obviously fucking grown-ups can't do that. They can't be there to protect you. So then you need to have, like the girl with the floppy wings, or what the fuck she's called,
Tinkerbell?
to show you. And you also had this. No, what is Katniss Everdeen? What, I can't even remember the name of the movies.
Mockingjay. Hunger Games.
Mockingjay, yeah, she's a Mockingjay. Yeah, Hunger Games, yeah. Like that elementary school pupils actually learned how to survive from the Hunger Games because 19 grown-ass men with guns are standing in the hallway waiting for somebody else to tell them that they can go in. When it actually stands in their it's not called their standard SOP that they're at an active shooter site. You go in.
Yeah, that was
You
established
don't
after
wait. You just go
Columbine.
in.
That was
Yes.
established.
96.
Established precedent that people have to, the police have to rush in when there's an active shooter, and this is a huge problem. I cannot understand why 19 local police officers, the good guys with a gun,
Yep.
couldn't be the good guys with a gun because they weren't told to. It's absolute
And by the way,
disgrace to these children. Absolute
do you know
disgrace.
how many active shooter scenarios that have actually been interrupted or prohibited by a good guy with a gun on a
None.
percentage over the
None.
last 26 years?
None.
On a percentage,
I have no idea.
3%.
Oh.
3. So the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good one, and it only works 3% of the time. And most of the time, the guy with a gun who didn't even have a gun. It's somebody on site that overpowered the person with a gun with something else. Like a bat, a chair, a table, a fucking muffin that they threw in their head. Right?
He goes on. This is from
when you talk about people. And then if you talk about people that actually had firearms, 0.8%.
Oh wow.
So you have 99.2% of the shooters who did not get, stopped by a good guy with a gun. But that's the thing that you're gonna do. Like, fucking statistics matter.
No.
Facts matter. What has happened over the last 30 fucking years matters. 99.2%.
And this was not a problem. This was not a problem of training. They trained for this. This is not a problem of not having enough firearms. They had 19 cops with firearms, right? And the vests.
They probably had submachine guns and fucking assault rifles.
And ballistic shields.
They trained for it. They prepared for it.
They got all the kit they needed.
They knew exactly what they needed to do. The problem is that they didn't want to do it. They should all lose their jobs. They should all lose their pensions, and they should be sued.
Yeah.
Absolutely sued for what happened to them. They should lose everything. They failed children.
Why did he turn his camera off? I only have one rule. Look at you on screen now. You're all misshapen and cut off.
Whoa.
It messed up everything. Your box is no way the same it was before the show started. I actually make a comment about Brenna's box every time before the show, and I always think about it after I say it. And I'm just talking about the
Sometimes my
picture.
box is too big. Sometimes my box is shifted over.
No, your box isn't in the right spot.
My box my box was removed. Somebody moved my box. I can't
Oh God! Now
help
there's
it.
two of them. Oh God! Let's see.
But the reality is, as horrible as what happened, it could have been worse.
Greg Abbott.
Oh God! Ugh, I just had
Greg
a horrible,
Abbott.
horrible pain in my stomach.
What the fuck is wrong with the why? How are you this dumb? How are you this calloused?
The reason it was not worse is because law enforcement officials did what they do.
That was a lie. And Governor Abbott now says that he was lied to by those law enforcement officials, and he is livid. Livid. That was his word. Livid about being lied to, but not.
Who the fuck cares about your little fifis? No one cares that you're livid.
Livid enough to fire whoever lied to him. And in situations like this, governors usually get their information from the highest ranking law enforcement official employed by the governor. And that is Stephen McCraw, the head of the Texas State Police, historically known as the Texas Rangers. Abbott did not appoint him. He inherited him, but Abbott has the power to fire him at any moment. He has the power to fire Steve McCraw immediately. Steve McCraw could have the decency to resign after failing the people of Texas by helping to pass along false information about the mass murder.
So if I called the police right now and I said Brenna is in her she's in her kitchen cooking cats. She's got cats over there and she's boiling them up. She's doing all these terrible things. She's abusing animals. And then the cops show up. And they say, "Drop the pot, lady." And she's just making Easy Mac. That's all she was doing, just making some Easy Mac. And then there's this big police response.
Oh, that sounds good.
There's this big police response because I lied. I can get in very big trouble for that. It's like pulling the fire alarm. Like you can't dispatch emergency people on false information.
You can't yell fire
in a crowded theater.
Theater, right? Exactly.
So
there's a reason for that.
So if I get in trouble for lying, and in regards to a police response, this motherfucker gets the council chair, and this motherfucker gets to ignore that he's getting the council chair.
Yeah, this is an utter failure. This is a disgrace to, like, we already have problems with police and police responding and
right
kicking down the wrong doors.
Yep.
We already have a problem with this. And this is not solving the problem. This is making it worse, which means we are in the process of having even less respect for law officers. This is not good. This is actually, this whole thing, this Uvalde school shooting, there are going to be fewer teachers are going to be quitting.
Yeah.
Kids are not going to be going to schools. This is not safe for anybody. This is not safe for the teachers. This is not safe for the police. This is not safe for the community. This is not safe for the kids. This is not safe for anybody. This is a huge problem. Somebody has to answer for this, and they have to answer hard.
Yeah.
Hard. Those police officers that didn't go in, gone. They need to be gone. The police chief needs to be gone. Anybody who perpetuated the lie, like, I don't know, Governor Abbott, he needs to go.
Yeah.
This
Peace.
isn't me being a liberal and I hate Republicans, blah blah blah. No, this person not only made guns easier to purchase by an 18-year-old, he he perpetuated the lie without getting the information fully, and then blamed other people for him perpetuating the lie. This isn't safe.
He's not to be trusted in a leadership anything.
This is not safe. Do you guys understand this? This is not a safe environment, and I have family there. This is not safe. He needs to go.
If he had any kind of decency, he would just resign.
Yeah.
Just ride off into the sunset, dude.
Yeah.
Just dip, because you're done.
But this is beyond a travesty, and this isn't the only thing that has happened recently in Texas involving mass shooting. So this is on him because of his laws, and but now my box is small. Jordan ruined my box again. That little
Oh my goodness.
Is that Ozzy? Oh God, you're so cute.
Ozzy.
You're so cute. Look at that nose. Oh, I want to kiss it. I want to kiss it all over its cute little
There we
face.
go. We got to zoom in on the.
God.
Everybody get your screenshots. It's Jarthan's fault.
I know.
There you go. Do we want to hear
cat.
from Madam Vice President first?
We
and
can
then go
hear
into
from
the
Madam
argument?
Vice President,
See what she's up to today.
and I'll do a little, and I'll expand on what she says.
Okay.
And I don't have to tell anybody in this room, but President Biden has taken more executive action to combat gun violence than any other president at this point.
Wait a minute. How do we get all the way to the middle of the damn video? What the hell?
You skipped it.
People lost their lives, and many more were injured. We, of course, all of us hold the people of Tulsa in our hearts, but we also reaffirm our commitment to passing common sense gun safety laws. And I don't have to.
All right, I want to hear Brenna now.
Okay. So, yesterday, a hospital system, we'll call it like a campus, St. Francis Health System campus, there was a active shooter who came into the building, the Natalie building, into the orthopedic clinic that was in that building. That building also houses outpatient care from surgery and breast cancer treatment. Mm-hmm. So it's one of the smaller buildings on the entirety of the hospital campus. And a little bit of background about what happened. The gunman had back surgery earlier in the month on May 19th. This is straight from the timeline from the report. May 24th, gunman released from hospital. You know, that's five days. It's pretty good. Throughout the week, the gunman called several times over several days, complaining of pain and wanted additional treatment. I believe what is missing is that the doctor actually did put in an appointment date to see this person after their surgery. May 29th, gunman purchased a .40 caliber handgun at a pawn shop. Wednesday, which is the day that the shooting happened, yesterday, at 2 p.m., purchases a semi-automatic rifle from a local gun store. The gunman brought the AR-15 style firearm and handgun to the hospital. went into the Natalie Medical Building where the orthopedic surgeon's office was, shot the receptionist, and then there was police received the call that there's an active shooter. I won't go through the details about the minute to minute. So in essence, the shooter ended up killing 4 people, 2 doctors, including the target, the receptionist, as I said, and then one of the patients that I believe was trying to escape the carnage. There has been no reports of those who were injured. The only thing I heard is that those who were injured were being treated, and that's all. There no numbers, no nothing. The shooter eventually killed himself, as per the report. So I'm not quite certain whether or not that is completely true, but the shooter is dead.
Yep.
So obviously, this person was in pain and wanted treatment, or wanted to cause harm to kill the doctor who caused it. Right? Just caused pain. This is not just. I'm not reporting on this. Not speaking about this strictly because it happens to be another mass shooting. 4 people dead. 5 if you include the gunman, which I never do. This is personal to me. And I believe last week I said this particular thing, that after the Uvalde shooting, that this could be any one of my family members next, whether there are teachers, whether they have small children. This medical campus is where my aunt works. My aunt, who lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, works at this medical campus. She works in the main hospital, which is next to the Natalie building. She left less than an hour before the gunman started shooting. That's how close my aunt was to this. She works in billing, which means she has to go and speak to these doctors regularly. She could have easily been in that building. This is not just any news article to me. This is not just any mass shooter or shooting or gun violence. This does affect me. This is a hospital. They have had to deal with a pandemic for 2 years, over 2 years now. A few years before the pandemic, they had to deal with somebody ramming their car into nurses and staff sitting outside enjoying lunch. This is ridiculous. That person could get a handgun in a pawn shop, and then the day they decided to get a rifle, they walk into a gun shop, purchase it, and walk out and shoot somebody. This is personal. And I am sick and tired of having this happen in a country that we consider ourselves to be highly intelligent, highly educated, amazing. We have everything that we ever need here. And yet the only thing that we're most famous for is how many people we kill. And providing the tools necessary to kill as many people as possible. The only good thing was that those who were injured were in a hospital building. If they were anywhere else, obviously in a school, we would have more casualties.
Yeah.
Two doctors were killed. Two doctors who were helping people feel better. Two doctors who were in charge of other people. A receptionist whose job it is to make sure that the people who need to get to their appointments get in to see their doctors. A receptionist was killed so that that gunman could get in to that building. That was a casualty. That was the roadblock. That was it. That was the only way that that person could have gone in and out of there, was through that receptionist, and he went through her. And that patient who was not there for any reason but to be that patient. This is serious. And tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time, President of the United States is going to actually talk about what is needed in order to prevent these things. We are not about taking guns away from people who lawfully use their guns. This is not about preventing people from getting. These are about getting these things done. The Bill Clinton had the biggest assault rifle buyback in the entire ever, and that reduced mass shootings down. We can do this. California is already working on doing another mass buyback of deadly assault weapons that have no real use than to destroy a body. If you want to destroy a body, Ukraine needs your help. The military is there for you. Go use those tools that you believe are necessary for your existence. I don't want to hear any more about these shootings, because the more and more I hear about them, the more personal they become. My aunt was close. If she didn't leave the hour before, if she didn't work in the building that was just a hop, skip, and a jump away, she could have been a victim. She knew the victims. This is personal, and I'm tired of it. And, we cannot. This may be one of those things that we have to really work for. There are March for Our Lives that's coming up from the kids. The kids of Parkland organized this after the Parkland shooting. Kids! They weren't even, most of them weren't even legal age to vote. And they did this shit because they were sick of it. They were sick of these mass shootings. They were sick of people unnecessarily dying.
They're friends.
And it just didn't stop. We couldn't do it with Sandy Hook. We couldn't do it with Las Vegas. Dude walks in, carries, what was it, 24 or so?
Yeah. He had an
assault
arsenal.
rifles
He had an arsenal up in his hotel room.
in a hotel room. We couldn't stop that. We are currently, we have to talk about this. We are currently in Pride Month. if you want to talk about mental health when it comes to gun violence, we can. But that's suicide. That's LGBTQA plus, IA plus youth, children using guns to kill themselves because they are depressed, they are unsupported, they are treated as the other. Let's actually do something. Let's make it harder for them to get guns, because if they can't get that, they are less likely to kill themselves. They're more likely to survive if they try. We actually need work done. Suicide is the highest. Suicide is the highest form of gun violence. Homicide is the second, and we don't even have all the numbers for the amount of homicides. We just had a homicide again in Orange County, in like Mission Viejo. We have people getting death threats. This is, why do we not actually value life in this country? We pretend to value life and we don't do it.
What you do, but in the wrong way.
What I said, actually.
So
we pretend to. We pretend. We're overturning Roe versus Wade. The court is overturning Roe versus Wade because of the constitutionality of it. So that all these Republican anti-choice lawmakers can get their shit through so that they can start controlling people, pretending that's about life. We don't do this. This is not correct. You want to value life, you value the children that were shot down. The doctors who saved lives.
So my dad pointed out one thing, and I think he did it in a very prudent way.
Mm-hmm.
So you treat this 286-year-old document, or whatever it is, as a Bible, and your Supreme Court as your high priests. And then because you treat it as gospel, right? Something that somebody came up with when the world was completely different, when everything was completely different, when the standards were something. So that's why you have the Second Amendment. That's why you have all of these arbitrary laws, because your new priests are your supreme justices. That is your priest. That is your high priests, right? And then it goes down. It's like, like your state court judges are your cardinals, and it just goes down from there. But that's how you treat this document, like it's a Bible. But I don't think, and even if it was meant to last forever, it's kind of weird that it still interpreted that way, right? That you leave it up to the Supreme Court that is politically appointed to interpret what's the law of the land. That is weird to me, because of course there's going to be a political agenda in there, right? It's not going to be what laws do we have that are the best for the people in our country. No, it's going to be what are the best for me, so I can still be at this elevated position that I'm in, because that's also your political system. Exactly. Money, lobbyists, all of that. So unless you stop treating your constitution as a holy document of something, you're not going to move. Well, you're not going to pass on. You're not.
It's I'll take your point of like the holy document thing, but changing it is so difficult. And now that everybody wants to politicize,
we talked about that last week.
Yeah, it's hard to change. It's hard to mend. And at the end of the day, all this falls onto Congress.
But wait, Mikey, that just comes back to my point. You think it's easy to get a new passage into the Bible or the Quran or the Torah? You think that's easily
They do
done?
it all the time.
No, you need.
They
No,
reinterpret it and put out their version. And is it the NIV or the King James? Like, there's tons of versions.
Yes, over 2,000 years, right? 10 times as long as your Constitution has been around there.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still treating it like making a change to the Bible is not an easy task, right? You have to make a new interpretation of the entire book to do it. You are treating it like a religious document, like it's meant to last forever. What somebody wrote 250 years ago, if you took any other document written 250 years ago and you're like, we're going to treat this like law, you know how horrible, deplorable, and absolutely insane that would be? So, yes, of course, you are right. You need to change the way that you also change the laws, but you also need to change your political system to do that. And your political system, again, Brenna, yes, it's
broken. It's
money. It's money. It's money. It's money. It's money. It's money. It's money. And that's a problem with having a high priest, like the high seat of the priest, which is the Supreme Court, being controlled by politics, which is again is controlled by money. And of course, gun manufacturers that also sell guns to the military. Of course, they want there to be 400 million guns in a country with 320 million people. Like, of course they do, because they make a piss ton of fucking money. And the European fucking gun manufacturers are no better. They don't want to ease up on that as well, because they know that every third gun that is used in the cartel wars in South America comes over the border from America, because they go into a gun show and they fucking buy shit. Yep. And it's legal and it's cheap as well, because everybody is competing on the prices.
Because the
if I wanted to get a gun, I would fucking go to America to buy it.
They don't care who gets the gun. They just want the money. So of course they don't want background checks, because that may stop somebody from getting a gun. They're not going to care whether or not you do take it over the border. It doesn't affect them, because we can't do anything about that.
Right.
And so they are not affected by it. And so there are steps. We cannot just say that there's nothing we can do. We have to do something. And so we're going to hear a little bit about what's going on, but there are things that we can do. And we're not doing them in a timely manner, because that money is going to the wrong people. Those manufacturers, those distributors, those ammophiles, ammosexuals, are giving their money to people who are going to do absolutely nothing, because that's what they're meant for. I just had I had a friend who posted about Marjorie Taylor Greene and her peach tree dish comment, and she's like, why do people vote for it? They vote for her because she's a willful idiot. She won't do anything. She's not going to take these shootings seriously. She's not going to take the formula shortage seriously. She's not going to take the war in Ukraine seriously. She's not going to do this. She was designed to not do anything. And this is why people are giving her money. That's why she's not going to do anything, so that she doesn't have to prove herself. And this is what is happening. Mitch McConnell is the same person. He just has a higher rank.
Yep.
His purpose is to do nothing. And if this is the way that government is supposed to run, We need to change the government.
Exactly.
We need to not have these willful idiots. We do not need to pay them to do nothing. They have to pass bills. They have to, the Senate has to confirm picks of judges, of cabinet members. They have to. That's their job. If they don't do their job, they need to go.
And that's kind of the choke point that we're at now, is who's going to replace them. And whenever we get into a conversation about this person's running and on DOA, like, we've had tons and tons of candidates on. And the sad and most depressing thing is the young people with lots of energy, lots of great ideas, enthusiasm, the support of the people, they run into Nancy Pelosi. And we have corporate Democrats who will tell us everything that we want to hear, and they sit there and they do nothing. And then we try to get somebody in to replace them, and again, the money is in the way. Because when she's outspending the guy running against her 1,200 to 1, 2,000 to 1, how is he supposed to get his word out? And smaller venues like podcasts and Twitch and the internet, that's how young, like, so if you guys have like anybody that you know is running for office and they want to come onto the show, we'll get them on and let them talk about their platform, and we'll grill them.
Yeah.
And they can talk to people their own age, because the current voting bloc is not voting in the best interests of the country. They're not even, at this point, they're not even voting in the best interests of themselves. And these are old people.
Yeah.
Sorry, old people, but y'all are not voting in a way that protects young people and yourselves.
Yeah.
You're just fucking shit up.
Also, young people need to get out and vote more, because yes, politics is boring. Well, it can be. I don't think it is, but I'm not young either. But you need to go out and vote, because saying that, doesn't matter what I vote, and it doesn't affect me. Yes, it fucking does. Maybe not now, maybe not 5 years from now, maybe not, but in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, it does affect you.
I think young people are politically they know more than probably I did at the same age. The thing is, there's no one to fucking vote for. It's trash. The people that are on the ballot are trash. So let's give them someone to actually vote for, and then complain about the numbers, because I can't complain about the numbers when it's literally 7 humps of garbage in a line and you have to pick one of them. I can't get mad at him.
Mikey Farmer for president 2040. Mikey Farmer for president 2040.
I mean, I'm not mad at him. Like, I get it. That's 2 shitty choices. I get that. But at the same time, we need people to run that aren't fucking piles of literal shit.
But we currently have gone through primaries, right? And the way that most of the country states does their primaries is that they have a Democrat and a Republican. Do not vote for the Republican. They do not give a shit. They literally sit on their ass blaming other people for their problems. California, our primary is the 7th, is Tuesday. We do our primaries different. We do top 2. That means that the most likely 80% of the time it's going to be 2 Democrats, because Republicans don't do well in this state. And so the Republicans have to go harder in order to get past the primary. So Democrats, so California voters, vote. This is not funny. Like, we need Kevin McCarthy out.
Yeah.
He is a willful idiot. His job is to do nothing and to complain.
Yep.
He is not doing his job. Fire him. I don't care who's going to replace him right now. We need to fire him. So
I'm guessing you're not the devil I know kind of person, are you, brother?
I'm from California. We think a little differently here.
I'm going to give you some numbers.
Some numbers. Got it.
So, in 2018, the NRA self-reported 5.5 million members.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Self-reported. Their membership dues also went up a little bit because this is actually the highest notching that they have had.
Okay.
So they reported 128 million based on their 5.5 million members. Right? No, sorry, 170 million on their 5.5 million members, which is 30.9. So let's say $31 per member paid into this because this is a revenue, right? Their total revenue, go back and look at their total revenue from the same year, 2018, is 412 million. So about 300 million more. About a quarter of a billion more. And their expenses was 423, almost half a billion in expenses that year. Where did those 250 million dollars come from each year on these, if we assume that they were actually, honest about their 5.5 million members, which I don't think they are.
How dare you? How
I
dare
do
you?
not.
How dare you insinuate that they're not being completely honest about their books?
Yeah. All right. Because of what comes next, which is funny, right? So they also support, the Boy Scouts, 4-H, and so on. They also distributed 28.2 million in grants for gun-related training and education programs, 12.6 million to the NRA itself, and the rest to community programs for hunters, competitive shooters, gun schools, and law enforcement. The foundation, the NRA Foundation, has no staff and pays no salaries.
It's a lot of overhead. That they have so much overhead that they can't even have employees.
Really, motherfucker? You got $500 million, almost $500 million in revenues, only 170 million if you are actually reporting, that 5.5 million people paid $30 to be a part, Where that's other 300 million come from people who want to sell guns. Of course, fucking hell, it's from the gun lobby. It's everything. Why do you think all of these NRA motherfuckers are living in these huge fucking mansions? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. They held, and this is 2018, right? They have held, since the inception in 1982, Friends of the NRA has held over 17,600 events since 1992. Oh, that is 30 years ago. Reached over 3.2 million entities and raised over 600 million for the NRA Foundation.
So the NRA is tax exempt.
They have
They have tax exempt status.
501c. Yes, they are a non-profit, as it would. It is also very telling that, they reported in 2018 a revenue of 412 million and an expenses that is 9 million more, 423 million.
They lost money.
They lost $9 million on the year
Bankrupt.
that they reported their highest membership numbers of all time, 5.5 million.
Look, hey man, that whole supply chain interruption. Look, they really suffered last year with their how many extra members? It was hard to keep the lights on for the non-employees that they don't have.
I fucking looked at this now and I was like, how can you look at this and go like, yeah, this seems legit?
Well, I mean, the people inspecting them are the same people I mean, what if the people in charge of regulating them were on the take? Ugh. Isn't that weird? Like,
you mean corruption?
Britta, how depressing is it that like this is where we live?
Yeah, every day.
Like we live here. Like our postal address is in this country.
Yeah,
like I get my mail
we do
here.
this every day. We do this every day.
I just have one question.
Yes.
Why?
Working on it.
Thank you.
Wifey poo. Looking at you. Looking at you.
If you
Mrs.
could,
Hammond.
if you could convince Brenna to move, and probably Jenna as well, then you could get Christian to move. You know, you have to go back this the right way. You can't say I want to move. You have to say Brenna and Jenna want to move. Then Christian would move. Like, you know, right?
Yes. So, Brenna, how's that Swedish Duolingo going? You know, I think you should really immerse yourself in Norwegian. You should totally immerse yourself in the language. That way, you get really absorb it as one of the local speakers.
I can show you some pictures of Norwegian nature that we can have while we're talking about this, and then you can show it in the background. Is that okay with you?
You're at the Norwegian touristing industry.
So, Mikey, I did actually look up round trip tickets to Chicago.
Uh-oh.
Because I may be wanting to take a break from this shit, and if you and Kristen, if money is ample enough for me,
I hear boom, 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 boom. Somebody's coming.
I may be knocking at your door at some point because I kid you not, I need to get away from this shit.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by just insanity right now, and it's not just the news, but it's other things.
Dinner is at 6 every day. Breakfast is optional, and you're on your own for lunch. So, you are everybody is always welcome to Casa de la Famille, Familie. Pardon me. Everyone is welcome here, unless you're Wayne. Unless you're Wayne. Wayne's not invited.
As long as you do at least one Thursday in Chicago, I think we can write it off as a business expense as soon as Mikey got the other shit sorted. So I think this is doable.
I think that is definitely a business expense because I think I might have to fly her out first.
Yeah, I think we have to have a vote on the in the board. All four say aye. Aye.
Aye. Oh well.
Okay, we're done. Yeah. It's a business expense, so we'll sort that out.
Yep.
Because
actually,
I think it's.
Oh, go ahead.
But I think of all of you, that's just the easiest to get to.
And actually, I will be out of town. Only on a Saturday, Sunday in June, and the wifey is taking some time off work. You'll have her all to yourself for a weekend. I mean, I'll be here for Thursday through Friday, but then the weekend's all you guys. I mean, I'll leave the keys, and you guys just
get some cash. Right. Just leave us some.
Are we about to wrap, or do I have to take another break?
No, let's get out of here.
We're gonna wrap on the last better news of life, and then we'll get more next week, hopefully, when we get
our next
installment. No. Before we go, I just have to show you one thing, and I have to stand up, but not for the reason that you think.
Oh, the good thing about Val is at least Jartin wears pants now. That was a
because she doesn't have to.
There was a time there where we couldn't trust him to stand up. Do you remember that?
Yep. I was without pants for 8 weeks straight. So I don't know if you've heard about this show on YouTube called Last Dab or Hot Ones.
Yeah.
You've seen it?
Yeah. Oh no. Nate.
I've tried it.
Oh.
It is
the worst thing you've ever had.
It is. It's called The Bomb for a reason. because this is the most heinous explosion of just heat. Right?
I'm glad you said heat.
It's just there's no taste, but it's just hot.
It just burns.
And it is. And I also bought, of course I did, the last dab, the strongest hot sauce, 1.5 plus million on the Scoville scale. Right?
No, thank you. No, thank you, please.
But this isn't half as bad as the 800,000 one. Because this one kind of sneaks up on you, but it tastes something else.
It has flavor to it. Yeah.
It has flavor to it. Yeah, it's the strongest thing that you've ever had, and it doesn't go away. It just keeps on giving more and more and more. Like I had a pint of yogurt and like 8 beers in 5 seconds. But this,
yeah,
it just went into your mouth and it went, and then I was just like crying and shoving ice cubes into my mouth.
Did you do it on the stream?
The kids started crying. What?
Did you do it on the stream?
No, I didn't do it on the stream. I am going to though, because I only I took a little bit and I put it down on the plate, and then I took this backside of the spoon and I put it in my mouth just to know what sort of to expect.
Fool.
You have no idea.
No. I've seen almost every episode of that show. There's no way I'll ever eat that hot sauce. It was a cautionary tale, and I learned my lesson.
Yes. But I have to say that the last dab is a really, really good hot sauce. It's immensely strong, but actually has some flavor to it. It's a good hot sauce. This is, I understand why the people that give up on this, because this is unedible. It's just heat.
Just pain in a bottle. That's what I'm gonna title my memoirs.
Oh, I got some a bit on my fingers. There was a bit on the bottle. Yes, there is. Oh, baby, can you get me a beer? Baby, please.
Oh, what a horrible excuse you have.
Well,
oh, it burns. It burns.
That's it for us, guys. We will see you all.
Well, let's just end with a happy Diamond Jubilee to the Queen. And then we'll get the official UK report from
our man on the street,
or Lord Wanker of Essex. So
our mug on the row.
All right.
Bye, guys.